This is one of those cars every high school in the 2000s has one guy doing this.
In the parking lot.
Oh yeah, it's time for dismissal.
Yeah.
This sounds so bad. Hyundai Tiburon. It's the year 2006. You have your first job out of high school. You just saw Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift. You're 19 years old. And when the first Fast and the Furious came out, you were 14 years old in the 7th or 8th grade. And that movie made an impression on you. You dreamed to own a tuner car and have arms big enough to justify a tank top. You saw Chronicles of Riddick and you liked it. You downloaded a torrent of Dragonheart: A New Beginning, starring the voice talent of Robbie Benson. And afterward, you discovered a website called VCL and immediately beat off. You practiced driving stick on the Cruisin' the World arcade cabinet, and you're saving up for a 4th gen Supra until you realized it would take years to save up for one. So you looked for a Nissan Skyline, but it will take years for them to be legal to import, and then you wouldn't be able to afford it. So you look for a Honda Prelude, but they're all ruined. So you look for a Toyota Celica, but you're crushed because you can't even afford that. Same deal for the WRX and the Evo. So you have a choice. Either keep driving your hand-me-down Buick LeSabre and be financially responsible, or keep busting to hyper-growth sequences and buy any car that looks like you're part of the tuning culture. Well, behold, a used Hyundai Tiburon. If you close one eye and put your hand over to the other, it looks just like a Toyota Supra. Hyundai Tiburon. The official car of retreating into your mental spank bank while you're in bed with your on and off girlfriend from art school, and you start imagining what she would be like as a fat-dicked anthro caribou with sloshing balls. Hyundai Tiburon. It's a trolley that takes you to the land of make-believe, but all the puppets are having gay sex. Hyundai Tiburon. It's a Honda Prelude if Dollar General built it. Anyway, so you finally have a tuner car. What you have is a transverse V6 front-wheel drive 2+2 coupe that was priced lower than a Honda, Toyota, Subaru, Mitsubishi, and even Dodge. And when you look on paper, the specifications look good. Engine, 2.7-liter V6. Cool. A small displacement V6. Revvy, right? Horsepower, 172. With 181 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, it's under 200 horsepower, but I guess that's okay. All for the MSRP in 2004 if it was new for the GT, which is, V6, for $19,639. Adjusted for inflation to 2024, this thing would have originally sold for $32,727. But this was 20X Hyundai, and back then they had the build quality of Cybertrucks. Yes, I know, Hyundai Kia today still has transmission problems with their CVTs and carbon fouling with their GDI-only engines, but back in 2004, they had no street cred, no build quality, and all they had is really their 100,000-mile warranty that the dealerships sometimes honored. This is before the Veloster, before the Stinger, before the... that's kind of it. The Tiburon was Hyundai's first performance anything in the United States. S-Coupe? The Scoop? Was that the turbo version of that? Was that sold in the United States? I see a few naturally aspirated ones for sale here, well used. I suppose the S-Coupe was sort of a sports coupe in the same way the Toyota Paseo was sort of a sports car. And our example here is sort of a sports car because it has a 4-speed automatic and offers fuel economy in the ballpark of 17 city, 24 highway, and 20 combined? Ugh, not great. So the owner, Nick, brought this back in high school on the same day he crashed his Chrysler Cirrus. I can't speak to the quality of the Cirrus, but this is probably at least comparable. And Nick bought it at a wrecking yard You know, sometimes you go to wrecking yards and they will have complete vehicles there with titles. You know, there maybe are titles, but hey, it's a running vehicle. And he rebuilt the engine, making this the first Hyundai I've ever encountered where someone had the patience and thought it was financially prudent to rebuild the engine on a Hyundai. So he made modifications over the years. It could be the Tuscany badges, which is the name of this car in South Korea. And what a new era we're in now, where Korean domestic market badges are now a desirable thing. Yo, bro, it's KDM. KDM, bro. Yeah, hold on. Let me make this a little bit better. You just move these apart right here, and then move up here, and this is a drug against war! Nick also swapped out the gauges, but kept everything in metric because America doesn't know how to do math. Arc exhaust and wheels from some sort of Audi, possibly an S4. The fog lights have yellow bulbs in it, great Euro, I guess. And although the aftermarket headlights are closer to OEM spec, I think they're just some knockoffs. A Tiburon is okay enough for what it was in the 2000s, but doesn't really offer anything but the empty shape of a better experience. This is the automotive equivalent of the natural essence they use to flavor sparkling water. What essence are we talking about? Do you even know? Or did you just draw a mango on a legal pad and then hold it up to the carburation machine and hope the flavor took? The Hyundai Tiburon wants to impress you, but the only thing it really inspires is a polite shrug of the shoulders. The Tiburon is like a little kid who keeps bugging you to look at this trick he learned, and it's just jumping in place. It wouldn't be as much of a problem if its mechanical efficiency wasn't so tenuous. This is one of the interference engines, many that they made, so if that timing belt that goes all the way around the V, if that breaks, well, so do your valves, so do your pistons, so does everything. And this is well before Hyundai's critical reevaluation. In 2004, Hyundai was still as poisonous as Kia and as toxic as any of the brands GM was on the verge of sending to an early grave. You got a Hyundai when you couldn't afford a Honda. But this, in a way, was the Veloster before the Veloster. But whereas the Veloster was more of a copy of a European hot hatch, this, sadly, is a whole lot closer to an SN-95 Mustang. And for that, you might as well just get a Civic. If a Honda is Bailey's, then this is Ryan's. The Tiburon debuted in 1996 and left in 2008, which also left a gap before the Veloster started, I believe, in 2011, 2012. It was right perfect in that era where sports coupes were contemporary, from the late 90s to the mid-2000s. And I admit it, the side profile of a Tiburon is nostalgic of driving a car like this at 11 p.m. to a midnight showing of Howl's Moving Castle. The aftermarket CD player that sounds exactly the same as the stock CD player, but somehow it sounds different to you, is blasting Days of the New. Donnie McConnelly is riding shotgun. He's going through a phase where he wants everyone to call him the Don Mocker. Sitting sideways in the back is Trevor Mindberry, and he asks McConnelly to move his seat forward, and Donnie McConnelly responds by reclining his seat even more. Is that better? Yeah, that's perfect, thanks. You see a McDonald's up ahead, and you pull in. Yeah, I'm gonna get a drink quick at the drive-thru. You want anything? Yeah, says Trevor Mindberry. I could go for a 10-piece nugget. And he starts searching his pockets for quarters and singles. Welcome to McDonald's, will I take your order? Yeah, And immediately you pull away, having ordered nothing. Laughing, you reach under your seat, pull out a warm can of Coke, open it, take a sip, and say, you want anything else? And in that moment, you felt like the king of the Lehigh Valley. 2004 Hyundai Tiburon. The official car of leaning toward the center of the car and just driving from there. Man, like this is how I remember people driving cars like this.
Yep, just like that. Yep.
Just like this. Where's my steering wheel? All the way down.
Yep.
Like that. No one does this anymore.
No.
No one drives in the center of their car. That was a thing.
I think the only people that do that now is people who have like the older GM cars with the bench seat and the center console that comes down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Tiburon. So I took my driver's wiper arm off and bent the passenger arm to the left, which was the style at the time. Hyundai Tiburon. The official car of revving in neutral instead of using your girlfriend's doorbell. Tiburon. Brought to you by...
Hey Jackie, you wanna, next time we make out, can you, call your pussy a dick?
2004 Tiburon. Brought to you by cutting your mid-weed with oregano from your parents' spice rack before you rebag it and sell it to your friends in C++ class. Hyundai Tiburon. Brought to you by beating off through your gym shorts, busting, and then just leaving it because it's clan time and you're all playing Battlefield Vietnam. Sounds like a Toyota Tacoma that someone straight pipe. It's that same. I am going. Your new gauges are too small. I can't read them.
And it's all metric.
Oh man. Straight.
That's why I never change it. It's kind of it's comically nostalgic. That's why that's what I like it for.
Yeah.
Overall, it's reliable, but everything else around it kind of sucks.
Mm.
Everything else breaks all the time. The transmissions aren't that great either. But